A flashing notification lit my screen. Critical. Massive security breach at Anderson Technologies. Right beneath it, tech media was already buzzing with headlines. Top defense firm crippled by devastating cyber attack. That defense firm? My father's company. The empire he'd spent decades building, now teetering on collapse. And the ironic twist? The one solution that could stop the bleeding was right here, inside the very system he once laughed off as amateur work during Thanksgiving dinner. Alex, their entire infrastructure is collapsing, my chief technology officer said, eyes scanning the data cascade streaming across our monitors. They've lost total access. I leaned back, letting the weight of it all sink in. My mind drifted to that awkward family meal 3 months earlier, Mom smiling sweetly, slicing pie with just the right hint of pity in her voice. It's adorable how you mess around with tech, sweetheart. But when are you going to get a proper job like Rachel? Dad hadn't even glanced up from his phone. Security programs? Leave that stuff to the real players. Honey, it's not a game you're equipped for. And yet, here we were. The real players were getting obliterated by a sophisticated digital assault their systems weren't built to withstand. Meanwhile, my creation, the one they'd all dismissed, was built for this exact scenario. Claire, I called to my assistant, "What's the current deployment status on Project Phoenix?" She tapped a few keys and brought it up. It was our latest cybersecurity platform, recently certified for military use by the Pentagon. A system powerful enough to shut this attack down cold. Fully operational and ready, she confirmed. We've had a dozen Fortune 500 companies trying to push to the front of the line, but you told us to hold off. I smiled faintly. This was a moment I'd been waiting for, not out of revenge, but because I knew this day would come one way or another. They'd refused our pitch 3 separate times over the past year. Never once realizing the CEO they kept turning away was the same daughter they dismissed at every family dinner. My phone vibrated with a group message from Mom. "Your father is having a terrible day. Some kind of tech issue at work. This is why we begged you to go to law school like Rachel." A second message followed from my sister. "Maybe one of your hacker buddies could help Dad. Though, honestly, he probably needs experts this time." I turned off my phone. Across the wall of screens in my office, Anderson Technologies' internal network was being dissected in real time. I watched the chaos unfold, calm and steady. It had taken 5 years to bring Quantum Shield from nothing, just an idea in my garage, to a powerhouse worth over $2 billion. My nights had been spent coding alone while they joked about my tech toys. My days were consumed by pitching clients who saw value, even when my own family didn't. They still thought I lived in a cramped apartment, working freelance to pay the bills from some job I'd quit years ago. "Ma'am," Claire reappeared in my doorway. "Anderson Technologies is requesting an emergency audience with Quantum Shield's leadership. They're panicking. The board is insisting on seeing our CEO. Tonight, Mr. Anderson personally asked for it." Of course he did. I adjusted my blazer, recalling all the times Dad flaunted his job title like a badge of superiority, while reducing mine to a hobby. "Scheduled for 7 p.m., I said. "At their headquarters." Claire raised an eyebrow. "They've lost all network access. They can't host a virtual call." "Even better," I said coolly. "Tell them Quantum Shield CEO will be there in person." "And Claire?" "Yes." "Make sure they're aware that our standard emergency deployment rate is 20 million, non-negotiable." Her smile was knowing. Should I arrange for a security escort? I shook my head, grabbing my laptop. That won't be necessary. Something tells me this will be a very civil meeting. After all, it's still a family business. When I arrived at Anderson Technologies, the building looked like a war zone. The lobby was bathed in dim emergency lighting. Stressed executives hurried in all directions, phones dead in their hands. It was like watching a shipwreck in slow motion. My heels echoed sharply on the polished floors as I moved toward reception, memories flickering back. I'd spent many afternoons here as a kid, trailing behind my father. He used to boast to his colleagues, "This one loves computers. She's going to build something big someday." Apparently, big hadn't looked the way he expected. "I'm here for the board meeting," I told the overwhelmed receptionist. Quantum Shield. She looked up, her eyes locking onto mine in surprise. Miss Sarah? Mr. Anderson's daughter? She asked, unsure. But we're waiting for the CEO of Quantum Shield Security. That would be me, I replied without missing a beat. Before she could respond, Jeffrey, Dad's longtime assistant, rushed over in a panic. Thank God you're here. But we were expecting the CEO of Quantum Shield. Sarah, sweetheart, this really is the right time to surprise your father at work. I handed him my business card, sleek, matte black, with just 2 lines of text. Sarah Anderson, founder and CEO, Quantum Shield Security. He stared at it. The color drained from his face. But that's impossible. Quantum Shield it's worth billions. I didn't wait for him to finish. The boardroom, Jeffrey. I said firmly, they're waiting. He led me upstairs in stunned silence. Through the glass walls, I saw a room full of men and women huddled around my father, poring over paper reports like it was 1995. Mom was there, too. She often sat in on big meetings as their head of public relations. Every face was drawn tight with tension. Jeffrey opened the door and cleared his throat. The CEO of Quantum Shield Security, he announced, voice wavering slightly. All eyes turned to me. I walked in, calm and composed, placing my laptop on the conference table. My father looked up, frozen, his face contorted between confusion and disbelief. Mom's smile faltered, her expression cracking beneath layers of makeup. Sarah? My father finally found his voice. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Quantum Shield. I said calmly, flipping open my laptop. Would you prefer to discuss how to stop the cyber attack crippling your business, or keep questioning my qualifications? A man at the end of the table turned to my father. Mr. Anderson, you know the CEO of Quantum Shield? My dad opened his mouth, then closed it again, speechless. My mother clutched the edge of the conference table, her knuckles white. Oh, yes, I said with a cool smile, casting my screen onto the wall for everyone to see. You could say we've had a lifelong connection, though I doubt they realized who I was until about a minute ago. As I displayed our stats, murmurs filled the room. Our market worth, our defense certifications, our elite clientele, and then, prominently, our Pentagon clearance, sitting next to the Quantum Shield name like a crown jewel. I turned to the board with a steady voice. Your current defense infrastructure is approximately 5 years behind today's threats. We identified these vulnerabilities last year when we first reached out to offer a solution. The same solution your team rejected 3 times. I clicked again. Up came an archived email, one of the rejections. We don't take advice from startups. That was the wording, wasn't it? My father stared at the screen, barely whispering, Those pitch meetings, that was you? I was always available, I said, unbothered. You just insisted on meeting someone more qualified. Now, every board member had their eyes on my father, some of them visibly frustrated. The breach you're suffering through now, I continued, is the exact kind of advanced attack that our Phoenix protocol was engineered to block. If we install it now, you'll be fully operational in less than an hour, with better protection than you've ever had. A voice from the table asked quickly, You can fix this? Absolutely, I replied, bringing up the contract. Our emergency deployment package starts at $20 million. No exceptions. My mother finally found her voice. $20 million? Sarah, this is your father's company. No, Mom, I said firmly, this is a business engagement between 2 corporations, one that ignored expert advice and is now collapsing, and one that can stop the damage. Immediately, I turned toward the board. You have 15 minutes to decide. After that, I have a scheduled consultation with your primary competitor. They've been trying to lock down our services for months. My father abruptly stood. Everyone, please step out. I need to speak with the CEO privately. People shuffled out uneasy. My mother lingered near the door. Sarah, sweetie, I kept my tone professional. The CEO will be happy to discuss personal matters after business hours. Right now, the priority is Anderson Technologies' recovery. Once the door shut behind them, it was just the 2 of us For the first time in my life, he didn't look at me as a little girl who liked to tinker with gadgets, but as the woman who now held the future of his company in her hands. All those dinners, he said quietly. All those times we brushed off your work. We can revisit the past later, I said, opening the contract on my screen. Right now, you have 12 minutes left to choose between your ego and your company. Here and here, please. I pointed to the relevant fields. Initial these sections confirming you accept the timeline and payment terms. His hand trembled slightly as he signed. The mighty Richard Anderson, so often the unshakable force in every room, reduced now to a humble father before his daughter's success. Behind the glass walls, board members watched with cautious optimism as my technical team began setting up. Sarah, he started gently. It's Mr. Anderson. I interrupted. My engineers need immediate access to your server facilities. Shall we proceed? He flinched at the formal address, but gave a stiff nod. As we walked down the hallway, I could feel the weight of hundreds of eyes tracking us. Word was already spreading. The CEO's dismissed daughter was actually the savior they didn't know they needed. Inside the server room, my team moved like clockwork, precise, unshaken. I stood beside my father, monitoring the Phoenix Protocol's activation as it began securing their network. He watched, stunned, as vital systems reconnected one by one. This is remarkable, he murmured, still trying to comprehend it. This is what I've been working on for the past 5 years, I said without looking up from my tablet. While you and Mom told the world, I was still figuring myself out. My phone buzzed. A message from Mom. Dinner tonight. Family only. We need to talk about everything. Another notification popped up. Time magazine requesting interview. The hidden titan of cybersecurity. Sarah, Dad said quietly, your platform is not just fixing the breach. It's revolutionary. That's wide as Pentagon certification, I replied. Then, turning to my lead engineer, status? All systems secure, he reported. No breaches remain. Full functionality restored. Thank you. Oh, schedule a training session for their IT department. They need to learn how to manage this properly. My father winced slightly at how easily I commanded the room. For 2 decades, he'd been the only Anderson called CEO. As the team packed up, he tried again. Sarah, could we talk? Just as father and daughter. I glanced at the time. I have a board call in an hour. I can offer you 10 minutes. In my office. Your office? The top floor of the glass tower you drive past every day, I said with a slight smile. Headquarters of Quantum Shield. His eyes widened. He had always pointed at that building as a benchmark of corporate achievement. He never imagined I owned it. Inside my corner suite, Dad looked around in awe. Plaques, innovation awards, magazine covers, all carry my name. Why didn't you tell us? He finally asked. Would you have believed me? I replied, settling behind my desk. You and Mom were too certain I was wasting my life. It was easy to let you think that while I built something that changed industry. We were wrong, he said softly. So terribly wrong. Yes, I agreed, then pulled up another document on my screen. Also, you should know, we just acquired 15% of Anderson Technology stock. By tomorrow, Quantum Shield will be your largest minority shareholder. He sat down hard. You bought into my company? Just protecting our investment, I said simply. Consider a daughter looking out for a father, for a change. My phone buzzed again. Mom had messaged the whole family. Emergency dinner tonight. Must celebrate Sarah's achievements. Rachel followed up. OMG, you're on Tech Insider. Billionaire? Why didn't you tell us? The dinner, Dad said cautiously. Will you come? I studied his face. 3 conditions. He nodded immediately. Anything. 1, no more belittling anyone's career path. 2, Mom needs to stop trying to set me up with her golf club's idea of ideal men. I think I'm doing fine on my own. And 3, I grinned, let me upgrade your home office. Your personal firewall is embarrassing. He chuckled, a real, genuine laugh, and then turned serious again. I'm proud of you, Sarah. Not for the money or the fame, but for believing in yourself when we didn't. I know, I said, standing. Now, go reassure your board. They're probably afraid I'm planning a hostile takeover. Are you? I smirked. If I wanted the company, I wouldn't need to be hostile. I'd just wait for the next cyber attack. As he left, I texted Mom, I'll be there tonight. And yes, I'm picking up the check. After all, I just closed a $20 million deal. Sometimes, success isn't about proving them wrong. Sometimes, it's about being strong enough to rescue them when they finally realize just how wrong they were.